In other news now, about 600 Texas children and teens are stuck in a juvenile prison system some say is on the brink of collapsing. So we continue this coverage on the issue with a new report from the Texas Tribune. It found the agency is so understaffed that teens have reported spending nearly 23 hours locked in their cells using water bottles to go to the bathroom. Reporter Jolie McCullough joins us now. So Jolie, a lot of data in this article that you have. What are the conditions first in these lockups? You even spoke to a mother, and she has a son in one of the facilities that's right outside of Austin, correct?
Yeah, so essentially what we're seeing right now are there are 5 prisons for juveniles that are run by the state here in Texas, and they are so understaffed. They've always been understaffed, but they are so understaffed right now that, kids are having to stay in their cells for, as you said, up to 23 hours sometimes, especially on the weekends, because what they're having to resort to is, the people who are supposed to be their teachers, the people who are supposed to be their case managers for, programming are instead having to fill these security roles, these supervisory roles. And so when they're not there on the weekends, generally speaking, there just aren't enough officers. So the kids are generally stuck in their cells for almost all the entire day.
So another really concerning part of your report, I mean, there were a lot of concerning parts there, but the staggering amount of youth on suicide watch. You had a lot of charts, a lot of numbers. Can you break those numbers down for us?
Yeah, so essentially what we're seeing is over the last few years, we've actually seen a pretty steady drop of teens that are in these prisons. And that's because of policy decisions where they're trying to send only the ones who need the most resources, the most intervention are supposed to be being sent to these prisons. But so we have fewer kids in these lockups, but they're engaging in more suicidal behavior, more self-harm behavior. And we're seeing a sharp rise in that, especially when you account for the change in population and just the number of children who are actively hurting themselves or trying to take their lives. At this point of the youth who have been in these prisons this year, 45% have at least at one point been on suicide watch.
Okay, so there are sports and some other programs within the facilities, but are those on pause? Are there any other recreational or just therapeutic programs to help the youth while they're there and really to help with recidivism?
Yeah, so the difference between the adult prison system and the juvenile prison system is they try really hard to focus on rehabilitation, right? These are young people. And they have, as in the adult prison, they're supposed to have an hour of recreation. They have schooling. Obviously, these are still children. They need to go to school. And they have a lot of therapeutic programming that they require. But when they don't have the staff to even get these guys out of their cells, like then yes, they are halting that. Instead of going to classrooms, oftentimes they're getting, work packets, school packets brought to their dorms. They're not able to go to recreation some days. There have been, generally speaking, there are two of these prisons have basketball teams, they have football teams, and the seasons have been canceled because they don't have the staff to, take them to any games, to go anywhere, to have there's just very little programming at this point because they are so short-staffed that they really are just in the basic supervision mode, not in, a providing services mode.
And, speaking of staff, we've seen understaffing everywhere, staffing shortages. Most industries have been impacted by that. Your report talks about the state desperately trying to recruit employees. Most of those new hires, though, are gone within 6 months. Do you know why that is?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a hard job. And this, as you said, yeah, staffing is hard for everyone right now. But the Juvenile Justice Department has always had the highest turnover. Like people leave there most often out of all state agencies. It's always been a really hard job to fill. And now with this labor shortage, as some call it, with people quitting their jobs, finding new jobs, it's just been exacerbated in this department. And so they're trying to recruit. They're going after they're hiring people specifically meant to try to recruit new and better talent. And still the majority of people, yeah, more than 50% of people who are hired have quit within 6 months.
Okay, so lastly, we know the Juvenile Justice Department in Texas is under federal investigation for an alleged pattern of mistreatment and abuse. Are there any proposed solutions to really rectify this issue that's been going on for a while now?
Yeah, so the agency is under legislative review. Every 10 years, every state agency goes under the microscope, essentially, for lawmakers to analyze how and if this agency should continue to exist. It's under review right now. What the agency is asking for and what these analysts are asking for is essentially more money. The answer all comes down to more money. They need to be able to, they say, better pay employees so people will stay in the job, people will want to take the job. And they also are hoping to kind of fund more programming. There have been other proposals from lawmakers and from juvenile justice advocates to either close all of these state-run prisons and move more towards funding local resources, right? Going into the communities, the county detention centers, and giving them the type of programming that is needed. Or, you know, having smaller facilities in cities, because right now the 5 lockups are pretty big and they're generally in rural areas where it's harder to find, you know, the labor pool is smaller. It's harder to find people who can work there, especially when you're looking for very high needs for mental health, for violent behavior. It's harder to find people who are able to fill those shoes.
Okay, Jolie McCullough, thank you so much for your reporting and thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.